William Browder is a well-known activist fighting for justice for Russian citizen Sergei Leonidovich Magnitsky and head of a self-funded global Magnitsky justice campaign. Since 2009, Browder has been telling the whole world a story about a Russian lawyer and his friend Sergei Magnitsky who investigated and exposed $230 million tax fraud committed by Russian authorities. According to Browder, Magnitsky was arrested and tortured for exposing the fraud. In November 2009, Magnitsky died in custody, and the money from the fraud he exposed were successfully transferred to accounts of various corrupt Russian officials, their family members, and friends. And Browder's story of the bravest man he'd ever met, Sergei Magnitsky, would have been legit, if not for a number of contradictions. The very first and important one is that Magnitsky has never been a lawyer. In 2015, Browder submitted to the New York District Attorney's Office a complaint consisting of thousands of documents compiled by a team of lawyers and reporters about the Russian tax fraud. In May of 2015, Browder testified on a number of issues, including Magnitsky's case. When asked whether Magnitsky was an attorney, Browder responded,
"He was my attorney."
And maybe that was true, but the point is that Magnitsky never had a law degree, nor he attended a law school. In fact, he was an auditor giving Browder advice on taxes in Russia.
When you told people Mr. Magnitsky's a lawyer, did you also tell him he never went to law school and never had a law license?
I'm sorry,
When you tell, how many times have you said Mr. Magnitsky's a lawyer?
I don't know.
50, 100, 200?
I don't know.
Many, many times, right?
Yep.
Have you ever told anybody that he didn't go to law school and didn't have a law degree?
No.
Here is what Magnitsky said at one of his testimonies in 2006. The next claim by Browder, which also has never been true, is that Magnitsky was convicted posthumously. Yet the sentence on case against Browder, Magnitsky says, case is dismissed.
I'm reading the document. It says the case is dismissed. The individual decision to dismiss the crime case on the basis of paragraph 4, article 24. You see that? So that's at the beginning. And at the end, sentenced only William Felix Browder.
When presented the copy of the sentence, Browder, claiming he was not able to interpret the document himself, stuck to his position.
You're sticking by your position no matter what, right?
That's your my analysis is different than yours.
You have anything in the document that you can point me to that suggests he's convicted?
I'm not a lawyer.
Well, you read English, right?
I do read English, but I am not a specialist on Russian law and Russian criminal procedure.
While being in prison, Magnitsky spoke to a fellow inmate, Oleg Luria, who happened to be a journalist. Luria then recollected that at their first meeting, Magnitsky was confident that Browder and his team were trying to get him out of prison. Yet when they met the next time, his confidence vanished. Luria later investigated Magnitsky's case and his connections to Browder. When conducting his investigation, he was contacted by a person claiming to be Browder's aide and offering Luria money in exchange for substituting real facts with lie. When asked whether he investigated the basis for Luria's accusations that he attempted to give a bribe to change the story about Magnitsky, Browder said that the accusations were complete nonsense. He stated that his team compared Luria's statements with the facts and came up with the conclusion that it was nonsense.
Did you do any investigation about Mr. Lurie's accusation that somebody used your name to attempt to bribe him to change his story about Sergei Magnitsky?
It's complete nonsense.
You did? Did you do any investigation?
My team did. It's complete nonsense.
What investigation did your team do?
They compared his statements with the facts and came up with a conclusion that it was nonsense.
And what facts did they compare it to?
I don't know.
So you didn't get briefed on the details of an accusation that you had bribed a witness to change his testimony. Does that say you never got briefed on this?
I was briefed on it, but I don't remember the details.
When were you briefed on it?
Whenever it happened.
It happened just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You were briefed on it a few weeks ago, and you have no specifics to tell us.
That's correct.
As the deposition went on, it turned out that Browder has never provided his dear friend Magnitsky with lawyers. Instead, he just reimbursed Firestone Duncan for hiring them. Moreover, Browder never even consulted with Magnitsky's lawyers and has no idea whether anyone in his team ever did that.
So, did anybody coordinate on your behalf with Firestone Duncan about the defense of Mr. Magnitsky?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't remember.
You were being criminally prosecuted along with Mr. Magnitsky at that time. You didn't pay attention?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Thus arises a legit question whether Browder really was a friend of Magnitsky who wanted to get him out of jail and fought for justice. Perhaps Browder was and still is fighting for the real story to remain buried.